Okay, Susie, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get started just because it's late and I want everybody to be able to like hop on, hop off, and do their nighttime things. So hi everybody who's able to hop on. There'll probably be some people kind of hopping on here as we go. So I wanted Susie to come and be our speaker tonight because I love following her. Those of you that don't, you should. And what I love is she has an amazing brand that she's created for herself, and she's unique and she's honest and she's real. And I just really respect how she markets herself and how she really does an amazing job sharing the Zaya brand in conjunction to her other businesses. So I thought she would just be able to give everyone kind of a unique perspective about what she does and how she's done it, and just kind of give everybody some new food for thought. So take it away, my dear.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Erin. I'm flattered and
Hold
excited.
on. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Oh. Test. Can you hear me now?
Can't. Let me see. Can you guys hear Susie okay? You can talk again.
Oh.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So awesome. Okay, cool. So Amanda can hear. I'm getting some thumbs up. So we good to go. Fun story. So guys, I do business mostly on Instagram as my main sales funnel. And my original name was Run Lift Zaya. That's right, I branded with a company. And when our policies and procedures got shook up a little bit, this is not a policies and procedures training, I decided I did want to change my name on Instagram, even though we're allowed on Instagram. I decided, you know what, I'm going to change it everywhere. And to that point, I had been sharing about running, lifting, and Zaya. But I had also been, the motherhood stuff was what people really resonated with. Like I have 4-year-old triplets, 3-year-old at the time, plus a kindergartner. Like people are like, whoa, this woman's drowning in kids. And that's what really resonated with folks. Like when I looked at my analytics on posts that I shared and that kind of thing, that's what was getting the most engagement. That's what was getting the most connection. So that's where I'm Run Lift Mom on Instagram. And that's how my name changed from Run Lift Zaya to Run Lift Mom. And that's really where I've kind of kept my brand on Instagram, is just to hit those running, lifting, and then motherhood categories. I want to talk to you guys, obviously about kind of branding within Instagram, but I wanted to see, and I can look at chat here. I'm not sure how like the mute functions work on here, but broad. What questions do you guys have about content on Instagram, or like sharing the Zaya brand on Instagram without like throwing it up all over your audience?
Everybody's currently muted except for you and I.
Okay.
But you guys are welcome to unmute yourself. You can, if you kind of hover over yourself, you can unmute yourself, or you can use the chat thing as well if you want to ask questions without unmuting yourself. Either or.
Because I've got some stuff I can definitely roll into, but I'd love to, you know, if we can talk it out and I can answer some questions, that would be great.
I mean, I personally would love to know more about how you have focused like so much energy directly into Instagram, and you not only have grown like a huge follower base, but you also, you're the predominant like center of your sales are also coming through Instagram, and
Yes.
where you think that is coming from, how you've translated building a follower base and like how you converted that into actual like sales, and not like little sales, like you generate large consistent sales from month to month. And so how do you think that has happened for you?
Yeah, so I will say, and thank you much. So I am runlift.mom on Instagram. Whoops. And so that's a pointer in itself right there, you guys. If the name that you want isn't available, put a dot in there somewhere or put like a underscore behind the actual name, and you can probably get the name that you're looking for. Run Lift Mom is currently abandoned by someone else, so I'm runlift.mom. I'll tell you from the beginning, I've been doing this for about 18 months. I joined Zaya without knowing it was a party plan. I loved the clothes so much, you guys, and I knew nothing about direct sales, that I was just like, yeah, of course I want to sell this. And then when they were like, you need to do Facebook parties, I was like, hold the phone. I don't like that. I'm an Army spouse and my network is burned out by parties. I'm not here to poo-poo on parties, but I started growing my brand, to answer your question, Erin, on Instagram because I didn't want to do parties. And I knew that in 2018, mid 2018, the bloggers had really set the stage on Instagram for people to buy apparel, right? Because right around that time, like the Like to Know It app and all the cool bloggers with their filters, and like people were buying clothes from Instagram. And I knew that. And so that's where I know I can convert on Instagram. So that's where I went. That's where I planted my flag. And I say this often, to my team and just to peers and everything. You want to be great in one place instead of mediocre in many. Like if I can leave you with anything, you guys, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, be great in one place as opposed to mediocre in many. I run my business in other places, but the reason I have the strongest hold in Instagram is because I started there and I stayed consistent there. Growing an account on Instagram now is a different ballgame than it was 18 months ago. But I mean, I didn't do anything on Facebook for 6 months because I wanted to be great on Instagram, and that gave me a really nice foundation. I do want to talk about Instagram, but just something about consistency that I think even Facebookers that are on the call or folks rewatching that are maybe on a different platform altogether. Here's the thing about consistency. When you're consistent and you show up to deliver purposeful value to your audience every day, or you're sharing about the brand and you're legit excited, you become an authority figure in their mind. You become the go-to authority, right? It doesn't matter if they're buying leggings from you. It doesn't matter if they're buying your stuff yet. You're becoming a go-to authority in their mind because they know they can expect consistency from you, and they see it so much. Think about the accounts that you're connected with. Think about the companies, the brands, big brands that you follow. When they're consistent, they have credibility in your mind. And so I just have to make that point about consistency because it's king. And the latest research that Google put out, 22 interactions. It's 22 to 25 interactions. Let's please lowball it. What does that mean? That means somebody is going to engage with you. And I think on Instagram, it's a little bit lower. They said like 19. Somebody's going to engage with you 20 times. And this doesn't mean double clicking your picture. They're going to engage with you 20 times before they actually purchase from you. I'll say that again. They're going to engage with you 20 times before they purchase with you. So consistency. If you're not there often, it's going to take a long time for them to purchase from you, right? You're building that relationship, you're building the credibility, but then also I'm just saying this because we know that like what we're harvesting today, we planted 60, 90 days ago, a lot of that is sales as well. Instagram is not post and sales fall from the sky. And I'm not going to be braggadocious and talk like sales numbers or anything. 90% of my sales, you guys, have come from Instagram. In a couple of months, I'll be able to like be in the, I'm in 6-digit club. So like a lot of sales have come from Instagram. I have failed in a lot of places at Zaya. I'm not the greatest leader, but like I can sell some stuff on Instagram. And I believe that's because I have been consistent and relationship focused. Just giving my audience purposeful information, knowing, right? Like I knew, it's going to take them a long time, but the research is there 20 times before they're actually going to buy. You guys, that's a long time. So we've got to be focused on sharing stuff with that passion and excitement and really engaging with people fostering those relationships and playing the long game. I know everybody here wants the 3x4, okay? I know people want the incentives, and it's tough because our incentives are really good at Zaya, but you can't get so caught up in that short-term stuff that you like abandon your entire audience.
Yeah.
So, ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot on on consistency and playing the long game. I feel very passionately about it though.
Do you feel like also you're like, I feel like you and I are a little bit aligned in this way, which is that like I don't do this quite as much like as publicly as you do, but the real like kind of honesty about like, this is great for this is not that great, this is good for this is whatever. Like, I feel like for me, that has helped me in my like relationships with my customers over time, that people now know, like I'll tell them like, that's not that great, like you're not going to like it, whatever it is. And but you're very public with that on Instagram. Do you feel like that has like helped you though over the long run, being very transparent and honest about what you love and what you don't love as much?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I will never forget the first negative Zaya review I made was joggers in a bottle. And I think my joggers in a bottle IGTV video, because guys, it's got to go in IGTV. It's longer than 60 seconds. It belongs in IGTV. IGTV will let you categorize things now. You can have a category for reviews. Even if you don't have 10,000 connections, you can put clickable links in IGTV. So y'all, you got to get on some IGTV. But my IGTV, I want to say the joggers in a bottle review is called Joggers in a Bottle, Hard Pass. And it's that emoji that does this.
I think there's a bunch of Canadians on the call. For those of you, they probably have no idea. The joggers in a bottle were this like genie pant thing that we did. I never got them. Because I saw them. And I was like,
you in the video, Erin.
Like, what on earth would I ever do with them? And like, no one I know. But they were just this like big palazzo pant thing. Anyway, that was.
And to be fair, actually, I do have a couple of customers who got them and love them. They're dancers. And so you have to, you have to know your audience. Now, I will say, I'm glad those dancers liked it. And I know that, Erin, you've talked with the team about like identifying their ideal avatar and their ideal client. So I'll bring it full circle. When I'm on Instagram, I am talking to Becky. Becky is my ideal client, okay? Becky likes honesty. Becky likes me to tell her when something is not good. She appreciates that. That establishes credibility. So like, you really want to nail down who your ideal client is. And if you're like, dude, I've only been doing this for a month, I don't have that many customers, think about who you want to be your customer. Or maybe you're thinking about a customer. For me, Becky is in her late 30s. She's got 2 kids. She works. She doesn't like to be on social media a lot. She's educated. She has a lot of knowledge about wellness, but she has a hard time fitting in fitness. And I'm always talking to Becky. I'm always talking to her. My reviews, I try to keep them less than 2 minutes. Becky doesn't like to be on social media that much. I try to get, actually my ideal customer does not live on Instagram. I try to get Becky over to my text message or over to my podcast because she doesn't have a lot of time. So the point is, know your audience. And when you're in front of a camera on video, and in 2020, you guys, so I have a podcast called Run Lift Mom, and I have the blessing of interviewing people that are way more smart than I am about social media. And Subi Zimmerman, you guys know her as the Instagram expert. She like confirmed with me 3 weeks ago, in 2020, video is still king. Look at your analytics, your videos, you're going to get way more impressions than you will a still image, even with the most beautiful, copy on there. Video is king. If you're not comfortable with video, my recommendation would be to communicate with your sponsor for like a month solid. Consistency helps, right? On like the Marco Polo app. That will give you practice on video, communicating on video, and I promise it will transfer over to Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're doing that video. I hope I'm not too in the weeds here. On Instagram, if a video is longer than 60 seconds, it belongs in IGTV. It just does. The only reason it wouldn't is if it's time-based, like if it's something that's not evergreen. Evergreen means you could use it this time next year. So when you're doing a video, let's say I'm doing a video on an All-Star bra. I'm not saying this restocks at the end of the month. We currently have it in red, blue, black, white. I'm not saying any of that. I'm like, the color that I have on is navy. I love this thing. You know, it's got the flexible, you know, mesh, no change. You know, I'm speaking in evergreen details. I'm not mentioning restock dates. I'm not mentioning colors that are available, because if I do that, I can't use that video ever again. And so I make a real conscious effort. Like some of the things that you'll see that I'll post now, I recorded, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago. Purposeful content, how to launder your Zaya, how to style things, all of that purposeful content. You're giving someone value without them having to buy from you. You've got to make that stuff evergreen, because then you can reuse that content. When you upload a video that's more than 60 seconds, it's going to default to where it goes to your feed. That's when somebody's just doing their scroll thing in Instagram. They can click to go to IGTV to see that video. Even if you have 10 connections on Instagram, if you in the caption, in the description, put a link, it will be clickable. That's only in IGTV. You're going to look like an idiot in your feed because it's still not clickable there, but it's clickable in your feed. How do you fix this? And then I'll get off of the technicalities. If it's less than 60 seconds in IGTV, it won't go to your feed. Now you don't look like an idiot. Now you can create a series with all Zaya Active reviews. In the description, you're putting the link to that exact item, and the person can click on the link from there. They say consumers give us 2 clicks. They're probably not going to our link in bio and then somewhere else and then somewhere else. That's why the swipe up is so great, but it's hard to get. So that's going to be a tip for folks that are like, how do I convert sales on Instagram without the links? That would be my recommendation. If it's less than 60 seconds, it's still going to live in IGTV and nobody's going to see it on the feed. You just have to train your audience to know where to find that. I hope everybody has the Record It app or some sort of screen recording app, because I find it's really on Instagram or anywhere, it's helpful to continually coach your audience. So if you guys are like, what, you're blowing my, I don't know what she's talking about, I'm gonna have to like watch the replay and get my phone out. Show your audience, okay? Show your audience. Hey guys, I have a new, I have a series called Zaya Active Leggings. I have all the videos of these leggings with clickable links for you. Let me show you how it works. Show them on the phone, put some captions in there. Dolby has a really good where you can do, it's an app that you can do stills, and then it's your voice saying, first you're gonna go to this page, then you're gonna go to this page, right? Like show that, coach them how to do it. I mentioned my podcast before. People don't know how to read show notes. They have no idea how to read show notes. They don't even know they're there. So I'm constantly having to tell my audience, when you're in your player, click details, swipe up. I've got all this stuff for you. Nobody knows it's there unless you coach them. We know how to use Facebook or Instagram or all these social networks because we're on it for our passion project or our side hustle. Your average consumer, y'all, they don't know how to use it. If you have a link in bio, that's great if you're sending people there. If you haven't shown them what it looks like to get from the button on your campsite or your tap bio or your link it, if you haven't shown them how to get to your Zaya site, odds are they're not going to click all the way there to buy clothes. I like to coach people on the Zaya site. I do. I like to do, so you'll get that Record It app out, you'll record again, and maybe you do this in stories and you say, here's how to search for my favorite sports bra, the All-Star bra. Just get out the screenshot, and what it is, it's on a mobile device, because we know that 80% of people that purchase are doing so from a mobile device. So I know our website leaves a lot to be desired on mobile, but y'all, it's what we've got. Go ahead and show them what it looks like to go to your link in bio and then into the search function at Zaya and type in All-Star or type in the color, just the color that they're after, and scroll down a little bit. Sometimes when I do Instagram parties, I will, on a campsite or a link in bio, I'll just do like 5 or 6 of the items that I'm going to feature in that party. That way they click on the picture and it takes them right there. So think about that. We get 2 clicks. That's all we get. I don't know if you can get them there in 2 clicks, but if you can reduce the number of clicks, especially somewhere, you know, that's distraction heavy like Instagram, it's going to help you sell and convert on Instagram. Are you guys using the chat sticker?
I haven't.
I'm getting some blank stares. Chat sticker is great. This is another one you don't need 10,000 connections for. The chat sticker is in Instagram. So if you're in your stories, and so I know everybody here has tagged somebody or done a GIF with a dancing puppy or whatever. You're going to look right there and there's a sticker called chat. It's like near the polls and the questions and all that stuff. What the chat sticker is it allows you to go in stories and say, hey guys, today's Wednesday, that's new release in Xyland. If you want a message with all of the links to our new releases and sizing intel, just join this chat right here, right? And you're gonna do like this, and then you're gonna put the little sticker right there below, your finger. Maybe this is in stories. Well, this does have to be in stories. Then what happens is if somebody clicks on that chat, it's going to opt them into that group message. You can have up to 32 people in that message. It's intended to be short term, and you want to let people know, I've got a small group of customers who like to get the links to everything new. That way they don't have to spend all day scrolling social. Remember, Becky doesn't like to be on social media. And then you're sending out on Instagram in a group message every link. Yep.
Okay. So you would post like either a picture or a video of yourself saying it, and then you name the chat like new releases or something like that.
Yes. Yep. And let them know, but let them know if you join this chat, it's a small group. You're going to get all of the links directly to the items today. And then if you want in for next week, you can raise your hand for next week. Like, let them know that it's going to be over.
Yeah, because it's just a one-time thing, right?
It could be forever, but I'll be honest with you. Like, I toyed with this when I think this launched months ago. I tried it both ways. People don't always want to be on there for every week. Sometimes they're in the market for activewear and sometimes they're not. So I just best practices N equals 1. I would recommend making it just, 1 week. But again, this is a way, if you don't have the swipe up, to say, ribbon leggings, size down once or maybe even twice. Holla, now you're wearing a 0. I don't know what you're saying, but I would in stories, if you feel comfortable going on video, do so. Captions, use captions. You can use a service like Mixed Captions. It's an app, or you can just type out the main point of what you're saying. I'm telling you to do this because 80% of people are silent watchers on videos on social media. 80%. So you could be saying all this great stuff in stories. I'm going to give you this great intel. Hit this chat button. They're not going to hear you. If it says in text, tap button to get new release links today, the odds are more people are going to tap that button. Or Erin, to your point, you could just text it out and say, would you like new releases and sizing intel today, right after they drop? Join this chat.
And so then in the chat, you like post like the pictures of the new releases and like, it's now like a message thread, basically, like a group chat.
Yep. Now it's a group message, but they know what they've opted into. And it's a really, to me, it's because guys, I have the swipe up now, which is wonderful and it reduces time, but I didn't always have the swipe up. And the odds of them going to a link in bio, or we know how product tagging can be a little bit dicey. It's not consistent on Instagram. Here's the thing. This is not only an easy way for people to get to you, it's a way for you to have a personal touch point. Remember what we said earlier? Yeah. 19 times before they purchase. Maybe they don't buy those ribbon leggings, but like that counts as a personal interaction because you were giving them some, solid intel. These weird pictures that we've been seeing of like the blush, we've been seeing all these like they're taunting us with the reflective leggings and the metallic leggings and this and that. If I were to do this chat thing last week, maybe I say, still didn't see those metallic leggings. I'm going to do another one of these next week and maybe we'll see them. Right. So then that person to 19, they're probably going to opt in next week, and it's adding on. So, and this is not, you've had 20 interactions with somebody, you put them in a headlock. I say that number because I think as marketers, as people who share the brand, we feel like we know this brand is so great. I joined the company without knowing it was a party plan. So there's this instinct to think well, dude, once somebody's seen it 3 or 4 times, are they going to buy it or what? No, the answer is no. And if it was you guys, you and I, we're in the minority. Most people are going to take longer to actually make the purchase for you to actually convert to a sale. They just are.
Super helpful.
Yeah. So it's tactical, but I want people to watch this video and be like, ooh, there's a strategy I could use tomorrow.
Yeah. Which I love. I think that's always such a mixture of finding new things to try, because I'm always do all the things, try all the things. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, try something else. But then also recognizing that for the vast majority of people, that this business is a long-term thing. It is not I started and the next day I was had $10,000 in sales and I was a director and whatever, right? The vast majority, the average people have to continue to consistently work at this to build it. And it takes a long period of time to get there. And so you have to invest the effort into it, and finding these little kind of shortcuts and little fun things as ways to connect with people are great to do while you're working towards those longer things, but recognizing that so much of this business is really focusing on, here's what I'm doing consistently each day, here's what I'm doing consistently each week, whatever it is. And then, but knowing over the long term that all of those things will compound and yield good things for you. Right. But it takes some time and effort.
It's such a long game. On Instagram, there are 4 different places you could be. You could be consistent in the feed, lives, IGTV, and stories. So you do kind of want to make sure that you're hitting all of those. But I would be remiss not to share with you, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook. To your point, Erin, there are so many awesome success stories at Zaya. 90% of us are going to need to play the long game. We just are. We are not, unfortunately, we're not being celebrated on a stage or nobody's going into a big Facebook group and being yo, my girl Susie has been a senior director for a year. Nobody's doing that, y'all. Maybe you can give me one of those tomorrow, Erin.
Totally.
Something I want to mention to you guys, and this is from Brenda Stir of Sassy Sweet. So this is something that I've followed from the beginning, and she's just fantastic. When you're posting on social, 40% of your stuff is purposeful value. So if you just took a pie chart, all those neighborhoods, whatever, what you're posting, your content, 40% is purposeful information. It's valuable. People could learn something from. It's how do you wash your stuff? It's how do you style your stuff? If you're a fitness person, it's fitness tips, it's healthy recipes, whatever. 40% is purposeful. Another 40% is personality. It's the jokes. It's the things that help you get to know. It's the mom part of Run Lift Mom. I'm dripping in kids. 20% is promotional. So yes, we have to be consistent. We have to get in front of people. We have to build up to those 20 interactions. 20%, that's the smallest piece of the puzzle. 20% is promotional. So there's a real art to that. So what I recommend people do, go to your Instagram feed, go to your feed, and this, obviously this is one neighborhood of Instagram, but if I go to my feed right now, I can circle the things that are promotional, i.e. I'm trying to sell them something, buy, shop, post, or they're purposeful. Somebody could learn something. People come to social media, right, to learn something, to be entertained, and to connect. Those are the only reasons people come to social media. They don't come to buy things. It's like, you tolerate the commercials on television. You want to be entertained. Go to your feed, circle the number of promotional things that you have. If you're not in that 20%, if it's 50% is promotional, buy, shop, join, you really, really want to brainstorm with your team, with your sponsor, with your group, whatever, on how to up that purposeful value. Purposeful value is evergreen. If we're ever in a position where we're out of leggings again, we don't have any more, you're going to have a bank of evergreen purposeful information to pull back on. You're not going to be stuck on posting anything. You're absolutely not going to be. So my challenge is for you, consider the chat option for new, especially for new releases, maybe for something else too. Play around with the links in IGTV. Remember, you can do that in the description part. You're going to have to coach your Beckies on how to access that. And then also just to take a look at your content pie and make sure that almost half of it is purposeful value. Somebody doesn't have to buy a thing for you to be serving them.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing. I feel like that is one of the things that when I first started, that was completely, just the whole concept was like oblivious to me. And so it was just like, oh, new release day, and like posting all the pictures and all the things. And like, it was just like sale, like after one after another. And that's all it was. And, then over time, I did the same thing around the time that you did, where I changed my name. I used to have Zaya in my name as well. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe like that's not the right thing to do. And so I dropped that, and I noticed a significant shift from just dropping the brand name out from my name, as far as like people that were connecting with me and like kind of like what that looks like, but then also making like a conscientious shift to get away from like, oh, look at all the new releases and whatever it is. Like, you can use your stories for that, obviously. Like, you can put pictures and, you can do things like that. So you can put it in places in your Facebook groups and whatever it is. So I certainly do that as well, but getting it a little bit out of my feed, because when you would look at like how many people liked stuff, when I would post things and it was like launch day and it was like a stock photo, I would have like 4 likes using the same hashtags that I was using for like all of these other posts, right? And it was like crickets. And so I just over time was like, it's just not getting me anywhere. Like, just drop it and like don't, and whatever. And I haven't noticed any difference as far as my sales or what traction I'm getting from Instagram by like not using those stock photos. Like, there's no difference.
I would encourage everyone, I think top 9, even though it's 2020, you can still do your top 9 for 2019. Do your top 9, okay? Do your top 9. What top 9 posts did you have? What did people engage with? I guarantee you everything in your top 9 is either fills that personality bucket, helps people to get to know you, or it fills that purposeful value bucket. And I guarantee at least 5 of those are your face. Yeah. It's your face. People want to see you. Do your top 9. That will tell you what type of content to be doing. To what you just described, Erin, that like you noticed a shift in the numbers and you noticed a shift in the audience is the biggest thing. There are a lot of spammy people on Instagram. Yeah. When you position yourself to be connected to the right people, it's a game changer for your business.
Yeah, no, this has been awesome. I knew you would have some little nuggets. And this is why we're doing this, is because there's tons of training. There's tons of like, thought leaders within our business, within other businesses, whatever it is. There's tons of super successful people, and they share information all the time, and they do things that have been really successful for them, and they've done amazing in their business. But it is a lot of the same voices, and it's a lot of the same approaches that you hear frequently. And I just feel like there's so much value in looking outside of like, here is the like kind of like plug and play thing, post this, write this, share this selfie, whatever it is. And once you kind of get out of that and you start being more creative, not only does it make the business more engaging, I think, and makes it more kind of like, I don't know, enjoyable, I think personally, but I also just feel like it opens up like all these new avenues. And I don't know, I think it's a huge thing. So I wanted you specifically to come and talk, because I love watching you. Obviously you have amazing energy. You're super fun and you're engaging and all of that, but I love that you're still honest, right? and that you're still very like transparent about what you love and what you don't and what you're passionate about and what you're not. And I think that that speaks volumes. And over the long run, like it's, you know, I think it's the cornerstone of having a super successful long-term business. But then also just being able to have people here, you know, like there's so many of us that do some Instagram, do some Facebook. I like to do in-person stuff. So I kind of like, I do all of these things, right? And I feel like I have the most kind of like happiness and engagement when I'm like in front of people, like in real life. But I do spend a lot of time in my Instagram, but that doesn't always like translate over directly into sales. Now, to your point, over time, I definitely have had more start to come from it than I have over in Facebook, I feel like. And again, it's just that long-term, you know, continuing to kind of navigate and work at that specifically. But I think it's really important for people to hear, you know, that there's some strategies that you very specifically can apply within Instagram world that you can really grow business. I just think it's super helpful, and it's not obvious, I don't think.
I'm going to give you, and maybe you can post it in your group, like with the replay of this or whatever. I'm going to give you 2 podcast episodes. One is with Brenda Stir. It's about content. It's about those 3 Ps: purposeful, promotional, personality. And then the second one is a podcast I did with Subi Zimmerman about Instagram for wellness professionals.
Amazing.
You guys are, I mean, you'll love them. And I pick the people that I want to interview for my business. So it'll bring things full circle.
Okay. I'm going to let everybody hop off before it times out. Cool. Thank you for doing this for us. It was amazing. You can see all people chatting, saying that they're so happy they hopped on.
Thank you guys. So. It's good to get to know you. Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye guys.